executives, 67% of them said they struggle with letting go of work from previous roles. More than half, 58%, said they were expected to know details about work and projects they believe were beneath their level. And more than half also felt that they were involved in decisions that those below them suggest would be making. This suggests that the problem of too little strategic leadership may be as much as a function of doing as of thinking. Rich Horwath, CEO of the Strategic Thinking Institute, found in his research that 44% of managers spent most of their time firefighting in cultures that rewarded reactivity and discouraged thoughtfulness. Nearly all leaders, 96%, claim they lack time for strategic thinking. Again, because they were too busy putting out fires. Both issues appear to be symptoms masking a fundamental issue. In my experience helping executives succeed at top companies, the best content for great strategic thinking comes right from one's own job. Here are three practical ways I've helped executives shift their roles to assume the appropriate strategic focus that their jobs require. 1. Identify the strategic requirements of your job. One chief operating officer I work with was appointed to her newly created role with express purpose of integrating two supply chain organizations resulting from an acquisition. Having risen through the supply chain ranks, she spent most of her time reacting to operational missteps and customer complaints. Her adept problem-solving skills had trained the organization to look to her for quick decisions to resolve issues. I asked her, "What's the most important thing your CEO and your boss and board want you to accomplish in this role?" She answered readily, "To take our duplicate costs from redundant work and to get the organization on one technology platform to manage our supply chain." Her succinct clarity surprised even her, though she quickly realized how little she was engaged in activities that would reach that outcome. We broke the mandate into 4 focus areas for organization, realigned her team to include leaders from both organizations, and ensured all meetings and decisions she was involved in directly connected to this mandate. Unfortunately, for many executives, the connection between the role and the strategic contribution they should make is not so obvious. As quoted in Howard's study, Harvard Business School, Professor David Collis says, "It's a dirty little secret. Most executives cannot articulate the objectives, scope, and advantage of their business in a simple statement. If they can't, neither can anyone else." He also cites Professor Roger Martin, which found that 43% of managers cannot state their own strategy. Executives with less clarity must work harder to etch out the line of sight between their role and its impact on organization direction. In some cases, shedding the collection of bad habits that have consumed how they embody the role will be greatest and the greatest challenge to embodying strategic thinking. 2. Uncover patterns to focus resource investments. Once a clear line of sight is drawn to a leader's strategic contribution, resources must be aligned to focus on that contribution. For many new executives, the large pile of resources they now get to direct has far greater consequence than anything they've allocated before. Aligning budgets and bodies around a unified direction is much harder when there's more of them, especially when reactionary decision making has become the norm. Too often, immediate crises cause executives to whiplash people and money. This is a common symptom of missing insights. Without a sound fact and insight base on which to prioritize resources, squeaky wheels get all the grease. Great strategic executives know how to use data to generate new insights about how they and their industries make money, examining patterns of performance over time. Financial, operational, customer and competitive data will reveal critical foresight about future opportunities and risks. For some, this tricky word insight may conjure up notions of breakthrough ideas or wow and aha moments, but studying basic patterns within available data gives simple insights that pinpoint what truly sets a company apart. In the case of the supply chain executive, rather than a blanket cost reduction, she uncovered patterns within her data that identified and protect the most competitive work of her organization, getting products to customers on time and accurately. She isolated those activities from work that added little value or were redundant, which is where she focused her cost-cutting efforts. She was able to dramatically reduce costs while improving the customer experience. Such focus helps leaders allocate money, budgets, and people with confidence. They know they are working on the right things without reacting to impulsive ideas or distracting minutiae. 3. Invite dissent to build others' commitment. Strategic insights is as much a social capability as it is an intellectual one. No executive strategic brilliance will ever be acted upon alone. An executive or manager needs those they lead to translate strategic insights into choices that drive results. For people to commit to carrying out an executive's strategic thinking, they have to both understand and believe in it. That's far more difficult than it sounds. One study found that only 14% of people understood their company's strategy, and only 24% felt the strategy was linked to their individual accountabilities. Most executives mistakenly assume that repeated explanations